Today, I swallow a sack of doorknobs and Heather pushes me into a river. This is ChillPoint. Welcome to ChillPoint. Today we are by ourselves because everybody else is out sick. It sounds like we have a bit that we're supposed to do here, but really I'm just doing the voice I always do at the beginning of CheckPoint. It's weird, actually. My voice doesn't sound exactly the same way it does when I'm on CheckPoint.
No, it doesn't, because the mic's different.
Yeah, it's weird. But in my head,
it'll do that.
It sounds so much different and very deep and a little more like an announcer's voice would sound. Today, there was a 10-car pileup on the I-5. Anyway.
Right.
Hey, how about, Heather, we explain why we're doing ChillPoint today?
Yes.
Because everyone else is making suppositions, and that's dangerous.
All right. So, because I see a number of you, and you know that some people went to PAX, and those people are definitely sick, but let me tell you, most of them have colds.
Yeah.
It's not PAX pox, especially since I think one of them brought the cold with them, and I think the others just got the same thing.
Yeah. Let's be clear about what's going on then, I guess, is that Paul got a cold last week early, and it just got worse. Mm-hmm. And Graham had a cold last week, and he either got it because little kids get colds, maybe, I don't know.
We live in a society.
Yeah, and so Paul is out sick. Graham can't make it because not because he's
Graham's
not because
better
he's
now.
cold.
He can't make it.
Because Kathleen is unavailable because she is traveling.
Out of town.
Yes.
And Cameron got a cold as well, which is relevant because the
schedule has changed tonight.
Schedule tonight, where we were going to play the long game, but now we're going to play Cook Serve Delicious 3, the two of us and Corey.
Yeah, so you're getting another bonus stream tonight.
So
that's mostly and then Ben, I think, got Graham's cold at PAX.
Well, he was rooming with him.
Yeah, so that's just a thing that can happen.
That happened. So we're sharing, and we're trying not to share any further.
Yeah.
Which is why they're not here.
Yep.
So that's what's going on there.
If this was COVID-19 for any reason, I'm sure we would actually be straight up with you about that, but we're not going to. Yeah.
Everybody else on the internet has been when they've had to pull out of events. Why would we not be?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be weird. Okay, so also we live in Canada, so we're probably okay.
We're not. Because apparently there were...
No, I meant for healthcare reasons.
Oh, there is that, yes.
Not for that.
No.
I meant just for the sense of we have a healthcare system that we will be okay with.
Yeah.
And will not pour us into debt, like the sad stories I'm hearing. And now I don't want to talk about this anymore.
We're all between the ages of 18 and 40, which means that if we do catch this thing, we would just end up with a really, really bad cold. So, yeah.
All right, so ChillPoint, because every time we've done this, Paul always explains what ChillPoint is. So you can go turn off the heat.
No, I don't think it's the heat that's the problem. It's always warm in here.
You can turn this on if you want.
Turn on.
Right, it's ChillPoint. Normally we do CheckPoint, and then the after show is referred to as the after show on the VOD channel, which is what you're going to be watching the ChillPoint on, because ChillPoints only go to the VOD channel and not the main channel. And this is the section of the show where we talk about the stories that they didn't talk about in the CheckPoint episode.
Yeah.
Which this week is all of them. So we're going to talk about all the ones Beej and I particularly care about, because we are here, and no one can tell us different.
Yep. Paul sent us a document this morning.
And we ignored half of it.
Yeah, we sure did. So thanks, Paul, who is in the stream right now.
Already had our stories on it. So there.
All right, so let's get to Animal Crossing Point.
All right.
First up,
there's actually not that much Animal Crossing news.
There really isn't.
I mean, of, like, new things.
The little Animal Crossing things, like there was a beautiful booth at PAX, and you could get the Isabelle as your check-in thing.
Yeah.
And that was the My Nintendo pin, actually, which is a little thick lines, I think, but
yeah. I looked at the Luigi one. This is better than the last one.
It is better than the Luigi one, but also their booth was astounding, driving people to tears with how cute it was. And just a good experience all around for everybody.
We did not go and experience the booth. We have heard the stories from Graham. It sounded like a magical wonderland. I've actually never been so jealous of not being able to attend a PAX before. Like, usually I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss my friends. And that's darn it, I guess I'll have to do it at the next one. Oh, they're not going to that one. Oh, well, okay, eventually, whatever.
Yeah.
It sucks a little bit. And now I'm just like, really?
Yeah. So the one that you don't get a chance to go to recently, and it's you went to Unplugged and you went to South, then
thankfully I do have really good friends, and they Corey brought me home the pin, and I know Ben went out of his way to get me one of the pieces of merch. So
yeah,
I have good friends.
Agreed.
But Animal Crossing. So outside of the booth, one of the news stories about Animal Crossing, which is not actually
relevant to
New Horizons,
the modern era,
but is relevant to the original Animal Crossing.
Dobutsu no Mori on the GameCube.
I feel like I did more research than the person who made this article. But
that happens.
There's an Animal Crossing player who is becoming a billionaire selling turnips. That's
a way you can make money, is you buy turnips and then you
sell them on the stock market.
Yeah, it's a commodities market.
Yeah, no, it's called the stock market.
Yes.
Puns. So there's a speedrunner. His name is Brian MP16. He is not quite yet there, but he is going to be there. He is going to gain the 999,999,999 bells, which is the max you can put into this was essentially an ATM. And when you do that in the original game, the game will gift you the model of the town post office. And the article says it's the most expensive item in the game, but you're not purchasing it, you're just hoarding money. Because that's how this works. And I went and I looked at, because they pointed out this was in the original game that he's playing for the GameCube. I went and I looked it up through the other games, because I haven't played them all. And this is pretty much a thing in every game except for New Leaf.
Yeah, it's
a different item.
By filling up your entire bank account, you get something as, hooray, you did that, so here's a thing.
Yeah, but it's this person has managed to do it without any, or is about to do it without any glitches, which most people have done for speedrunning. It's taken them about 180 hours to get there, just buying turnips, selling them again.
Who knows if anything else they were doing? Like, I mean, it sounds like they're just doing it by turnips.
I would assume maybe you're doing a little bit of extra stuff, but if you're trying to keep your playtime down and also play legit, because 180 hours consecutive is not... You don't play Animal Crossing consecutively like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. You run out of things to do eventually. You're supposed to put the game down and come back later.
I'd love to know what that... That's weird. Every time I talk, I feel like I'm getting an audio hiss.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why.
Really distracting.
I don't know how to fix that.
Neither do I. All right, so that's the thing. It's they're spending all this time just so they can get the post office in the GameCube version of Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal if you're trying to do the completionist thing, which is hard to do.
They'll do it, and I guess that's probably like a very specific thing where it's like, rather than getting everything in the game, it's just to get this one item. So let's move on.
Okay. There are better things to talk about for Animal Crossing. Maybe not today. Not in our list. What do you want to talk about?
Just go through the. Let's just go through the whole thing. Sure.
You want to go through?
So I backed Bloodstained.
You did.
I'm very happy to. I backed it when I was going to get a physical copy for the Wii U, in fact, and partway through development, they're like, "Hey, so this Switch thing, we'd rather just develop it for that." So they had to change me over to a physical version of the Switch game, which was great. Except that I didn't play it for several months because when I heard that it was damn near unplayable, I waited until they released all the updates they were going to release for it. But they crushed all of their stretch goals because, let's be fair, a Metroidvania game made by Igarashi is like, that's what people want to play, is another one of these kind of things. Their $5 million level stretch goal was that they would make a roguelike version of this game. And I'm like, oh shit, I really liked Rogue Legacy. I didn't didn't know if I would like it or not, but when I played it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I really like this idea of this game.
Because roguelikes aren't generally your jam.
No,
But
they drive me up the wall.
Metroidvanias are, so maybe it would be enough. I mean, they're not doing it anyway.
Yeah, but so they were going to make a roguelike version, like a roguelike setting, so you could turn that on in the game, which would essentially randomize the castle. It would set up it would put rooms in different places and tie stuff together in different ways, which would be a very interesting way to play the game. Of course, the Rogue Legacy is meant to be like enjoyed in small pieces, right? I have no idea if this would be the same kind of thing where it's like you play as far as you can until you die and then you start doing upgrades to yourself or whatever. Like, I don't know if they're going to make it like that.
Yeah.
All I know is it's going to be a roguelike version of the game, and they have figured out that the way they made the game early in the game's development, it is not currently compatible with this type of gameplay, especially procedurally generated castle, which I was like, no kidding. Like,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. So they're going to make a randomizer mode instead.
Yeah, and the randomizer mode actually looks pretty neat. Let me move it to there so people can see the screenshot. Where it's still a story campaign, but before you start the game, you choose up to 8 different parameters throughout your playthrough. So there's a thing for the quests, there's your end goal. Do you shuffle items? Do you not? And I think that's an interesting way to do randomization, because it's like it gives you a little bit of control and a caveat, but it's a good challenge system.
And it's going to be, as my understanding, it's like it's made so it can't lock you out. So you can say, do you want to do you want to have everything in the chests shuffled up and put everywhere? That's fine, but hey, guess what? Like, key items, like shuffled, or key items anywhere. So you could open the first chest and get something that's very important, like late in the game. But I imagine things like shards that you would need to keep moving, because it says enemy drops, mixed shards, mixed items. Like, that's crazy, because that means you can't farm an enemy to like wait for the drop of shard. But I think the idea is that, like, the double jump shard, for example, that's still going to come from the same place. You can't just get that at random doing whatever. So, yeah, this is an interesting way to add things, and quite frankly, I prefer these kind of modes, even though I'll probably never play it. I prefer these kind of modes to modes like Boss Rush, which I think is an absolute goddamn joke. I hate those things.
It's the first mode you unlock. And that's fine. You don't have to play Boss Rush.
Yeah.
Other people enjoy doing Boss Rush things. I honestly think if I make it all the way through this game, because I'm currently streaming it.
Yeah.
I would be interested in trying enemy drops on Chaos just to see what that is, because I think it would be neat to, well, because most of the shards that let you transverse through into different areas seem to be tied to specific bosses.
Yes.
But there is like a couple for the water stuff that are not and are a random drop.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting if you ended up just getting that right away.
Yeah. And I mean, like, as Aesir Blade mentions in the chat, if it's set up like other existing randomizers, you wouldn't get Aqua Stream, which is one a shard you need to get in order to move around in water. You wouldn't get Aqua Stream from the Decima, which is the enemy that you actually get it from, which is just it's just a standard mob. It's pretty weak even. You could be getting it from a bat, or from like an Aussie Pete, or like some sort of other thing. I think is kind of interesting. That's like you could just end up with something. And I don't know if it's. I think chaos means that it could always be something different no matter what it is that you're getting, which is kind of an interesting idea too. But
I mean, that's kind of like if I want to play a game randomed, I kind of want it completely random. I want to at least go in with that experience once,
as opposed to be like everything's just been shuffled into different things. But I guess there's also new Switch, like everything's at content parity right now as far as the Switch is concerned, which is what I'm concerned about. And
well, there
might be still more things coming out. So.
They're still working on a little bit to improve the Switch, not in terms of I believe they said not in terms of the graphics themselves, but on the performance, because there's still some areas where
there's lots of slowdown,
specifically in like the towers and stuff.
Yep.
Where it slows down, and they've recognized that, and they're still working on that. So I didn't play it when it first came out, but my understanding is it is a lot better on the Switch than it was.
Yep, that's what I understand too.
My understanding is if you've still played the game elsewhere, maybe going to the Switch is going to be a little hard on you.
Yeah.
Just because it is going to look different. But, I like taking my games on the go, so it's fine.
I'm really glad that they did it, but also I feel like once I'm done playing it, like once I've kind of 100%ed to the level I want to 100% it to, which is a weird thing to say, then I'll be done playing it, which is how I am with basically every other game I play. Hey, so we talked about COVID-19.
So let's move. We're moving on to GDC. Has been there were a lot of tweets saying that it was canceled, but they themselves have said that they are postponed. A lot of companies were pulling out of GDC.
Yes.
I think it was supposed to happen mid-March.
Yeah.
And they were originally, when people were pulling out of PAX East, they were saying, oh no, we'll still keep going. But I think at this point it's more too many companies pulled out and they themselves had to.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if we look at, so Sony, Microsoft, Epic Games, Unity, Activision Blizzard, Amazon, Facebook, all canceled plans to come to GDC. That did not, like, Sony canceled coming to PAX East, and I think Square Enix, like, scaled back because they said we're not sending anybody from Japan.
Yes, scaled back through international.
But yeah, it's like the not everybody pulled out of everything. So PAX East was still a go no matter what. People were willing to see that happen. GDC just had too many high level pullouts that they're like, we can't actually, probably couldn't even make it happen at that point.
Yeah. I mean, they mentioned all the really high level people who were pulling out, but I imagine there were a lot of indies who also were having to pull out.
But this is also having a big effect, like, in other areas of the industry as well. Like, Google is canceling their I/O conference. There's a lot of Mac people right now are like, are they going to have to cancel WWDC? Nobody knows yet because Apple's still like, we have no plans to cancel it, but we haven't even announced when it's happening.
Yeah.
So
E3 is also on that board of the fence where they're like, oh, we're still planning to go through right now, and I'm like, yes, but you're in June. There's no reason for you to cancel yet. Yeah,
the ESO tournament, which is where they were playing ESO Pro Tour, where they were doing the Counter-Strike Global Offensive championships, or a championship for that anyway. This I thought was amazing. The event continued. The audience was told they could not show up. They're basically barred from entering the facility. So the audience was not allowed to enter. Everyone got their tickets refunded. But also, I believe, if I was reading the article correctly, that resulted in the largest, like, it was 11,000 people that were told you can't come in. But it also resulted in the largest online attended, like, watch stream in a very, very long time, because everybody's stuck at home, and so they're all like, oh, we're gonna watch. Oh, I guess it's
because of the gating for the fan.
All right,
it's okay. It's cooled off in here. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay. But that's like, you know, everyone's trying to be more careful than not, and so they're like, hey, yeah, so we're online, and the idea is like, everyone's been stuck at home, so now they're tuning in to watch stuff, and this is actually going to be pretty good for Twitch and Mixer and any other streaming company, maybe, that people be stuck at home watching shit. Like,
I guess it's
look on the bright side. Like, yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, it's essentially like, hey, if nobody can show up, then other people won't show up either.
Yeah.
At some point, we're running an event where we have a whole bunch of people here that cut your costs and run.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's pretty, everyone's worried, but I think if people are practical and they're cautious, and I mean, that Men in Black quote's been coming back a lot, where it's like, a person is smart, people are dumb, panicky creatures. And I'm like, that's fair, right? You get a lot of people, like, all kind of doing, like, thinking that kind of thing. And there's just been sufficient worry that people are like, I don't want to be responsible for going to a thing. And it's funny how many, like now that I'm an adult, seeing how many conferences, right? How many big events are like happening all the time, especially in gaming.
Well, and they're more.
I've never had to really notice that before. That it's like there are big events happening all the time.
Well, and they're not just big events. It's not like, oh, this is the local bake sale and the entire block shows up, right? This is a large event where people from all over the world show up, and they do, because whether you see them or not, they're there to either promote their product or have business meetings with other people or
enjoy themselves at the event, because that's what that's for.
Or they're just there for the event itself.
Yep.
So that's just, it's more of a, now you get to realize how many parts are dependent upon other people who now can't go, and things have to get canceled. And you know what? Really, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, expect to hear more of this from us, though. Like,
it's going to be a big deal for a lot of people in terms of, especially indie developers for GDC.
Yes.
That's why you're seeing things online about people who are like, hey, we have funds where we want to try and help them out, because even if they can get their tickets refunded for that, getting your airfare done, getting your time back from trying to maybe get stuff prepped for that or other things that you've put into it, can be really hard on the smaller developer.
Yep.
It's a lot less hard on Facebook. They can just eat that.
Yeah.
It sucks, but they can.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be seeing fallout from that over time as well. But I think overall it'll end up okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about an indie game, though?
Yes.
I'm assuming this is an indie game. I didn't look.
I believe that it is.
All right, so the title of this article is, if you think the game is unfair, you can appeal directly to the creator.
This is written by Patricia Hernandez on Polygon, so you can follow along if you want. This is a really cool idea. Zach Gage has made a game called Spell Tower, and it's a classic word game.
Yeah, it's a mobile word puzzle game. And you make words. And if you make a word and the game's like, that's not in my dictionary, instead of saying not a word, it has a challenge that shows up that you can submit to say, no, review my word. This should be added to the word list.
Yeah, and it's pretty funky, because it's like you make a challenge, and then what happens is that challenge gets sent to the developer, gets sent to Zach Gage, and they review the challenge.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't manually review all of them. There is an auto algorithm thing he has set up to do reviews, but he does review a lot of them because manually reviewing helps him work on that.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure what his criteria is for whether something is a word or isn't a word, though.
So the twist is, you can't just submit like a million challenges.
Right.
You get 3. But the number doesn't go down if your request is successful.
Right.
So I don't know if there's a way to like maybe get more back over time if you submit 3 that are not. But his criteria, I believe, he kind of talks about in the article, because they did talk to him.
Because he has to be able to review it.
Where did he write that?
He talks about things not showing up in Merriam-Webster.
Well, yeah, because he says that in Scrabble they went with no proper nouns because it's a very clean rule, but he doesn't think it's a good rule because there are lots of proper nouns. There are also real words.
I do like, though, that he doesn't like that Scrabble's rules have become the default, that people are like, oh, well, I guess we have to go by the Scrabble rules if we make a word game. And so he wants to be more open to letting people just, because it's not a competitive game, right? It's about trying to find stuff. Well, now it's a competitive game because
it's got leaderboards, so there is a bit of competitiveness to it.
But there's a challenge. Like, now there's a challenge leaderboard that if you make a successful challenge, then you get marked on the leaderboard, and the more successful challenges you make, like, because you have to chain it is I think the other thing too, right? Because it's like if you only get, let's say you only end up getting those 3 challenges, if you lose all 3 of them, you're not going anywhere on the leaderboard anymore. But if you can make a successful challenge over and over and over again, that means not only did you have to find a word and then challenge and then say, and then it has to come back and be successful, and you have to do that over and over and over again. Like, that's really hard to do because you're relying upon the game giving you the letters you need to build those words.
So those curious at the time this was written, the person at the top had 40 challenges that got
they are at the top.
added.
They've challenged successfully 40 times.
He said that last month when they talked to him, he said that 17,000 words got denied and 1,600 had been accepted into the system, and he manually reviewed about 3,000 of those, which is a lot.
Yeah. I do love that he talks about how it's pretty intimate in a very boring way.
Well, yeah, because he's like, oh, you get to see what words... When you're playing a word game, there's a bit of an association that goes on. Like, if you're especially when you're trying to do kind of a Scrabble-like thing where you're looking at a set of words and you're trying to figure out words, you're going to go with words you know and probably words you've even come in contact with recently. And if someone else has put down a different word, your brain's already thinking in that direction. Yeah. And so he's like, you know, we've gotten an influx of words that have to do with basket weaving. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. But also kind of boring.
Yeah. I like that he's like this is like getting a sense of what they see when they look at a jumble of letters, right? It says, but then also it's just words like cronk or log out or contrarianism. And I'm like, cronk is not an actual word. It's more like automatopoeia or a name, obviously. But then log out, I'm like, that should be an accepted word. But then contrarianism, I'm like, that is a proper word. That is a real proper word, and that hopefully is in the game. It's just it's an ism word where it's like take a word, then add ism to it, and now all of a sudden it's a word, right? Like, that's the thing. It's definitely a made up word, but hey, guess what? They're all made up words. So really cool though. The idea is, hey, I think you're wrong. What do you think? And they're like,
yeah, I knew the chat would do that to you the moment you said that cronk wasn't a real word.
Yeah.
What I also really like about this article is the fact that he talks about that there have been people who are very angry to write in who tell him that the word should have been allowed. Yeah. And it's like, no, you spelled the word incorrectly. Yeah. And it's like, it's really awkward to tell people who've written you very angrily, and they're there to tell you that you're stupid.
And you have to turn around.
And you have to tell them that they're objectively wrong. Yeah. And that I find really funny.
It's like, this is incorrect. It's like, no, you don't know how to spell. So, fun, I guess.
But I can see it, right? Yeah. Like
don't play word games if you don't know how to spell?
There's reasons I don't play Scrabble.
I mean, I think that, but anyway, yeah.
Because, well, you think whatever you want, but I don't think that. I play Scrabble once with my parents, and then never again, because honestly, Scrabble is just a game where you're trying to be smart in an intense situation where you're not going to be smart enough, and all you can do is maybe write the word cat, and it's going to be worth like 3 points, and then you're like, fine, I will write a bigger word. Haha, I have a really cool word here, and it's not, you can't spell it right, and then everyone wants to argue, and they want to pull out a dictionary, and it's just, it is a game about arguing about how things are spelled, and who has time for that? I have so many other games I could play that does not involve me yelling at people and then also trying to be smart at the same time. And by be smart, I mean know a lot of words.
Yeah. Who really wants to know a lot of words? Anyway. Next news story?
I mean, I was trying to tell you your tea was ready, like, between 6 different stories, and
oh, I know.
It's just like, oh, cool, you're leaving now. I guess I'll rant about Scrabble.
Yeah. I need to leave, so I could at least get it, but anyway.
So, another game that I guess other people play is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But you know what? You know what I like about... No, I don't actually. But maybe I do. Who knows what I like anymore? Shouldn't have left me.
Hi.
I've gone weird.
Everything okay?
They've added a Tamagotchi-like pet that you feed with murder.
Yeah. Which they call the Tomogunchi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll pronounce it again. The Tomogunchi.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how that should be pronounced. Because everybody who always says Tamagotchi, I'm like, no, Tamagotchi. That's how it's fucking pronounced!
See, you're getting at me about
It's
ranting,
from-
and now you're doing it.
It's from tamago, which means egg. That's where the Tamagotchi. That's how it.
egg
That's
friend,
how
okay?
where it fucking comes from.
Hey, James.
Sip your tea, it's okay.
You know, when I do these with Paul, we're a lot calmer.
Oh.
What are you yelling about? Hey, I bought that last night.
Seriously?
Yeah, 100%. Seriously did.
Nice.
How much is it?
I had the.
Oh, it's part of.
It's you can buy it with like in-game, and I had in-game for when I bought the game.
All right.
Okay, cool.
But I think it's like $10 or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know what it does.
Oh.
I just window slam bought it.
It's
Me and Funko bought one and played for like an hour and nothing happened. So.
yeah, because it's
Oh.
not. It's just a cosmetic.
Oh, does it hatch
It's-
at any point? Like you can see it on your
yeah.
wrist.
So
Yeah.
what's supposed to happen with this is
As you shoot
as
things.
you're killing things,
Yeah.
it feeds it. If you don't kill enough things, it dies.
Oh.
Also, kill streaks count and stuff. So it's a get good at the game meter.
Okay. I am pretty not good at this game, so
You might never see it hatch.
has there
might
been any
die
news?
in the egg.
Was there any news today about the Battle Royale version of this game?
No.
Not that I saw.
didn't see anything about that.
Still waiting.
All right.
Someday.
One day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it just. I'm not doing sound because I don't want our VOD to get like muted, but the it's a little cosmetic pet. You run around, you kill things, and when you do, it you can feed it.
and it evolves over time. The more
Yeah,
you shoot
it's,
things,
it's
I guess.
essentially how that kind of pet thing worked at the time. The
Except the button is the shooty button. So interesting idea, and funny, goofy thing to add to the game, I think. Despite the idea that it's like, hey, this thing you wear on your wrist tracks how many people you've murdered
that's
and
the
how
thing.
many you've done in a row, and
It's cosmetic, but if you want to do well with it, you better be good at the game.
yeah. So I'm sure somebody will mock this up into a real thing soon enough, and then be able to buy them for $99, and yeah.
I don't like the future you predict sometimes.
I mean, not to make people kill other people, just to make it evolve. It'll just be playable like a normal
Sure.
game. So, all right,
Okay, well, why don't you talk about this piece of sad news then?
yeah. So
You put it in here.
I did, yeah. So this kind of was I was putting these together in kind of a suite of stories. Actually, is the unusual behaviors of game designers, and specifically, did you know that Masahiro Sakurai, the director of Smash Brothers Ultimate in this case, overworks himself. Works so much.
Yeah, in fact, there's been articles about that before.
Yeah, and so we have even more information that he was so tired, he passed out while bathing at the gym. And that just kind of struck me as, oh, that was, you are working so hard that this happened, and I sure fine whatever. But as I'm looking at more of the article, it's like, okay, so according to this week's issue of Famitsu, and a translation from some person with numbers in their name via Siliconera, Sakurai revealed how he recently managed to avoid a major injury due to fatigue. According to the source, he was apparently taking a bath during a trip to the gym and passed out because he was tired and dehydrated. His low-carb, meat-based diet was supposedly a contributing factor. And I'm like, Jesus, that...
Your diet is always a contributing factor.
Yeah, exactly. But I was also like, how low carb is your low carb diet if you're just if that's the thing? But then the follow on to that is a year ago he revealed how he would use an IV drip and go to work like normal during development of Smash Bros. Ultimate in order to avoid taking time off.
That was an article.
Also dealt with a lot of stomach problems. Like I'm just like, there's a holy shit, this guy's nuts.
Yeah, he works around the clock.
Yeah.
And he does not take breaks.
Yeah.
And apparently he just doesn't eat
Yeah.
or drink water.
Yeah. You know, like, and I'm kind of like at this level where you're a director of a game. Obviously, I'll say this: you set an example, like it's kind of a positive example in that you're like, I want people to work hard on this game, so I'm also going to work hard on this game. But the bad part of that is if you're not going to take care of yourself while you're trying to work hard on the game, then you're setting a poor example. And I would assume that at the level that Sakurai is working at, he should probably actually like meet like a dietitian who can say you're doing this to yourself. Well, then you need to be eating this diet. You can't be doing this. You have to be doing this.
I 100% just think that he's working himself so hard for so long without any breaks that he's considered
it normal.
I can't eat food.
No,
because
yeah.
I have to keep working. Eating food takes time away from the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah. So that's one weird bit of behavior. Let's go on to the next story. In fact,
are they all sad?
No,
Did
it's
you
just
bring me
they're just
a whole
weird
pile of sad stories about developers.
So
I did.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Paul, please come back.
Miyamoto's announced that he has broken his habit of completely reworking games mid-development, and they use they use this term so many times in the Nintendo Life article. Upending the tea table is what they use, where he comes in and he just basically flips the whole thing and like, no, let's start over.
It's a UK site.
Didn't really well. I mean, they drink tea in Japan too, so I could see why. And there was that game that I played in Japan where the idea was to flip the table as hard as you could, and everything
remember.
goes flying.
Yeah.
So I'm I feel like this is part of the same thing.
It's fun.
Yeah, but he's like, I might say something in the early stages of development like, what if we didn't do this? Or if you're going to do that, then what about this? But I no longer come in mid-development, not early, right? Mid-development, to completely rework things. I don't upend the tea table just as a hobby or something. I only do so if I can see how the whole game will pan out.
I mean, I do believe I've read stories where people have been like, oh, and then he just came in and he fixed the whole thing and did everything. And now we could fit all of Pokemon onto one cart.
Right.
Like, I think that was him.
But it's weird because it's like this idea of like, by changing the structure of things when a game isn't turning out right, I upend the tea table when I can see how things like the visuals, the merits of the game can change. If I can't see clear vision for the game, then that doesn't mean something should be changed, which is very interesting. After all, you can't see all the key components unless you're the director. And of course, nowadays he's not. He's like the chief creative fellow or something like that. Like, you know, that's the...
I don't know what's worse. Being the director and having someone come in who can just do this to you.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying. But at the same time, if you're having a hard time with stuff and he does come in and fixes everything, maybe you're happy about it. Like, I feel like this is a coin toss. This could be really annoying.
Yeah.
Or it could be really good.
Yeah. I mean...
And either direction feels like you probably can't stop him.
Yeah. Though I think it's interesting that his like... He's like, oh, I've cleaned up my act. I don't do this negative thing in regards to games anymore. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of always been kept very, like, if nothing else, Nintendo's been pretty hush-hush about development of a lot of stuff that has gone on. And then whenever they do come out about something, they also tend to be like, oh, looking back on it, remember when we used to do that? Yeah, I remember, like, remember the Iwata asks things when he would ask about, like...
Everybody does that, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, that was a terrible thing that happened. Let's not talk about that ever again.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's been 6 years. Remember that terrible thing?
We can look back on it fondly because
weird.
it's over now, and I'm definitely not in development hell anymore.
Yeah.
But it's...
You remember our wedding cake was tilting?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
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 You remember how fun that was?
At the time, that was definitely not, but it's funny now.
Yeah, it's hilarious now.
I paid $450 for a wedding cake that the creator of which, as she was leaving, said to her husband, "Let's get out of here before it falls over."
Moving on. Are we done with the story?
I think so, yeah. I thought it was a funny thing that he's like, I'm no longer doing this harmful
What
thing.
other fresh hell have you brought for me?
Yeah, this is weird. Pokemon Go, you can nickname your characters, correct?
You can nickname Pokemon, yes.
Yes. But in Pokemon Go, allows you to change the name of a Pokemon you've caught.
Yes.
It's censoring certain
In fact,
things.
that's how you get certain Pokemon to evolve.
Yeah. So you can't. Do you have a Ho-Oh? Well, if you go to edit its nickname, and you type something, and you're like, oh, actually, I don't want to use that. I'm just gonna keep it as Ho-Oh or whatever, and you go okay to just like say that's what I want to do. It won't do it because Ho-Oh contains inappropriate text. And as the article points out as well, variations of the name like Ho-E-O are perfectly fine. All right.
Okay.
But also you can't like
I thought you could just erase the name completely and say okay, and it would just default.
correct.
Though. So,
But if you try to change it and you're like, oh wait, that's not what I want, and you type the name back in and go okay, it's like, wait, no, you can't use Ho. That's not okay. That's the part where, if anyone's wondering, it's like you can't use Ho. Okay, fair enough. What else can't you use? Did you know you can't do that with Lickitung?
what part?
Well, you also can't do it with Lickitung, and you can't do it with Licky Licky. Because lick isn't allowed. Except there's
The word lick?
yeah, the word lick is not allowed. Shroomish can't be used because the shroom part,
I mean, that I can understand. I don't understand why lick.
because licking stuff must be
Well, yeah, but usually you ban all the other words that would go with that one.
Yeah.
Not the word lick.
uh-huh.
That one's weird to me.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's like, because I was like, ho, I'm like, okay, maybe I can kind of, all right.
But again, I
But
don't really
lick
see.
was kind of like, I guess you could write rude things with the word lick, but I'm like, whatever.
I still don't understand why this is a big issue.
It's
more like it's just a weird thing that you can't input their own words back in.
yes.
When you can just delete it.
You can't put a name in, even if you spell it the same way, because the only reason why it's a big deal is because it reveals what the filter is, and you get to notice it's like, oh, wait a second, this Pokemon, as far as Niantic is concerned, has a inappropriate text as part of its name, as far as Niantic's word filters are concerned. But the name itself was already decided upon by the Pokemon Company, so it should be okay to use. I should be able to call a Pikachu Ho-Oh if I wanted to, even if it would be confusing, because Ho-Oh is considered okay by the Pokemon Company enough that it made it into the game, and that I could call like a Trubbish Shroomish if I wanted to.
No. There's only one Pokemon name that is acceptable to call all Pokemon by, and that's what I do, and it's Rowlet, and there's none of this stuff, and Rowlet is no way not allowed in the word filter.
Yeah, you're right. Rowlet is probably just fine. Anyway, thought that was funny. What
Clearly.
else? Yes, what else did we have in here?
Riot. Well, Dead or Alive.
Keep torpedoing my shit, I guess. Dead or Alive 6. If you want to change your fighter's hair color, you pay for it because it's DLC. But the method is weird because, and I'm gonna roll down to talk about how this worked because it's unusual. So Dead or Alive 6 has 4 season passes, and it can cost you anywhere from $80 to $93 to buy the season passes.
Okay.
But you can also, this is real weird, you can buy costume sets on their own, in fact, too. If you don't want to pay $80 for the season pass that includes the 26 costumes that has the Morphing Ninja costume set, you can just buy that set on its own for $24.
Sure.
Okay, fair
that's
enough.
Not weird yet.
But that wasn't a thing recently. So if you wanted to change somebody's hair color before that, or change other things about them, but I guess a hair color is a way to think about this. If you wanted to change something before that, you could use the premium ticket option, which is part of PlayStation 4's setup.
Okay.
Okay. So premium ticket, you can buy in bundles of 2 to 50, so however you want to do. Each ticket costs about $1.
All right.
Great.
Got it. In-game currency.
So
Gross.
changing a hair color costs a ticket. There are 16 hair colors to choose from. So if you want to collect them all, you would have to pay $16 for each hair color.
But you're saying,
or $16 for all the hair colors.
you're not saying like every time you change your hair color, you're saying you're buying a hair color.
Well, That's what it sounds like, except what happens is that, let's say you want to change a blonde to a redhead, or even a different blonde, right? So you pay a ticket to change from blonde to a redhead, and then you're like, okay, that was great. I want to change it back to blonde. It costs you another ticket to change it back to the thing that you already purchased. So they're not referring to it as hair coloring. Players have been referring to the feature as hair renting.
Yeah.
And I know how in real life, if you go get your hair colored, you have to pay for it. And if you have to go back to get your hair colored again, you would also pay for it again. And I'm like, sure, but it's a consumable switch. Like, it's very weird.
Real life also requires several hours to get my hair's color changed.
And it's like it's like $100 every time. Like, it's not a buck. But in the game, right, you feel like I'm buying a costume, I'm buying a hair color. But you're not.
Look, games.
You're renting your hair.
Look, games. If you're gonna get all real life on me with my games, it's so that I have to pay to change my hair color just like I do in real life, that shit better take 8 hours
Yes.
to happen in real time. And then over the next several months, I want to see the color slowly drain from their hair as if it is getting grown out and as if I'm getting it cut.
So I'm not trying to justify this is a good idea. I'm like, it's interesting how this actually parallels how things work in real life. It's not how it should work in the video game, I think. Especially like hair color, spending $1 to do that. Now, I believe now if you buy things in season passes, you will get those things. I'm not sure because I don't play DOA. But I thought that was an interesting thing where it's like, we're just going to let you rent hair. So, yeah. I need to use the washroom.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
All right. Beach is gone. What's the next story he put down? Oh, no, we can't do that story without him. I also think we should maybe do that story last. I'm making executive decisions. I'll bring up the other story. Alright, so Beach has a story in here called NVIDIA didn't ask permission to include the long dark on GeForce Now. I haven't read this story, so let's read it now. Let's see. This is a cloud streaming service, GeForce Now, and they didn't ask Hinterland Studio to include the game The Long Dark in the library. In return, Hinterland asked them to remove it from the service. That seems fair. This is why you should have asked. Let's see, this follows several other games having been removed from GeForce Now, with some publishers pulling their entire catalog. I'm getting the sense that GeForce, NVIDIA didn't ask anybody for permission for their streaming service. That's a good way to get a streaming service to have nobody come back if you lose all your catalog. Let's see, Bethesda removed nearly all their games. Is that sad? I don't know. I don't play any Bethesda games that I'm aware of. Activision Blizzard removed all theirs. That can't be sad for anybody. After the beta period, NVIDIA service ended. Capcom, Konami, Rockstar, and Square Enix all declined to make their games available in full releases on the streaming library. What do you have left? Nintendo's never going to give you their games. So, as far as I can tell, NVIDIA GeForce has no games on it, and the games they did have were not theirs to have. The problem with GeForce Now is that they technically only rent you PCs. You still have to own your own games and log into your own Steam account. Isn't that also how Stadia is working? I haven't really been paying as much attention to Stadia. I assume it's just going to go away eventually. Yeah, that's basically the story there. It's streaming service did not have permission, and now a whole bunch of games have been pulled. They did apologize, according to Long Dark's director. NVIDIA apologized for the lack of communication and asked if Hinterland would like to keep the Long Dark on the stream platform, and they said no. And there's a tweet from the director saying, "Sorry to those who were disappointed that you can no longer play it. there. NVIDIA didn't ask for permission to put the game on the platform, so we asked them to remove it. Please take your complaints to them, not the devs, because devs should control where their games exist. There's nothing really newsworthy or shocking about our decision here. The shocking part is people's reactions to it. NVIDIA admitted they made a mistake releasing without our permission, apologized, asked us if we'd like to stay on the platform. We said not at the moment. Yeah, this is not a thing you should be mad at the devs for. There's lots of other places to play games. I talked about this story without you.
That's fine.
I think I went through all of it.
Okay.
Do you have an opinion you would like to share with the class?
I'm kind of surprised that NVIDIA would just straight up start putting games on a service and not tell people about it, like they thought they would get away with something. Because...
I mean, okay.
Did they think they wouldn't notice?
Worst case,
yes.
They were like, haha, I will be a sneaky, sly phantom thief, and I will put these games here, and no one will notice, and I will have changed their hearts by putting it here, and they won't say a thing, because people will get mad at them and not us. Or, more than likely, they were like, hey, let's put these games on our service, cool, so-and-so, go make sure we get permission. Did we? Probably. Cool. Because I assume it's always the worst. It's always the option that's like somebody didn't communicate, something smart did not happen, proper channels did not go on. It's never as silly as,
Like the chat is filling up, so I'm gonna address this. Yes, you are playing your own games on this service. But this is so ridiculous. Yes, you're playing these games on their, like the games that you have purchased. You're playing them on GeForce Now. You have to have already owned the game in order to make this happen. But NVIDIA apologized for the lack of communication, asked if Hinterland would like to keep the Long Dark on the streaming platform. Hinterland declined. So right there, that should make it clear to you that there is some level of permission that is needed from the company to say, yes, we are fine with you doing this, because, and I know how this is weird, because we buy games, but we're actually buying licenses to the games, and the licenses have very specific things in how we can actually use them.
Generally have a statement of what you can do with the game.
And I imagine that's probably why that holds up a lot of these companies to be like, can we actually do this? Because it would probably be a cool thing if we can do it. And they might end up looking at their licenses, and it's like, we can't, because we didn't give the license to the user to be able to install it in a service like this. So no, you can't have it on the service because legally it's not allowed. Like, so it's really weird because everyone, like Bethesda's removed almost all their games. Blizzard's removed almost like all of theirs because of a misunderstanding. After the beta came down, Capcom, Konami, Rockstar, and Square Enix all declined to make their games available in it as well. So there's a level of, these companies are saying we don't want it there, and so we're not going to let you do it. And whether or not that's, like, to be clear, if you already own the game and you want to have it, you want to put it on a VM in like Microsoft Azure or Amazon's cloud or whatever, you want to put that stuff up there and be like, I want to be able to access the VM from there and not have to keep my hard drive. Fill your boots. Yes, this seems kind of weird. Maybe it's even a little bit short-sighted, but it also seems like developers and publishers have a very real legal reason why they would be saying, you can't put this on your service. You can't be hosting this thing on a VM, even though it's technically the property. It's technically been licensed by somebody to be able to play it. So this is going to get very complicated. I hope that they sort it out. But man, it's like tying itself in knots.
The thing is, if they have to ask for permission to have it there, and the developers can say no, to me that says that you have to have had permission to be there in the first place.
Yeah. Whether or not
that's legal because you own a copy and you're playing your own game on this thing or not.
Yeah.
That
whether you think it's stupid whether you think it's stupid that this is a rule, it's still a rule. And it sucks, but it's still a rule.
Because if it really didn't matter, it would just be...
They'd be like, well, what do we care? We don't need your permission.
It'd be just, well, we have it on here anyway, you can't do anything about it. And they would be mad about it, and maybe at most the devs would say, hey, we asked for them not to do that. We would prefer if you could buy our game elsewhere or not play it on that, and that's about it.
Yeah. And if it's just you doing it if it was just you, one person that put your stuff on a VM on a cloud service somewhere, and it was just only you, and they're not going to give a shit about you doing that. But when it's NVIDIA saying we're providing a service to allow you to do this, it's like now we have to care about that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We're not lawyers.
No.
And but I felt like this was a better ending story for
Agreed.
us to finish on.
I agree.
Before we just maybe talk about other stuff if we run out.
It has a killer headline too.
But also I mean it's just very you.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing you definitely found.
This is one of those things that when I was 12, I was all about. The headline is, "This terrifying gaming bed is just a toilet short of perfection." Like when I was 12 years old, it's like, could I just have my water bed? And then, because at the foot of my bed was my little TV with my Super Nintendo plugged into it. Sure. You know, and if I could just have like a longer cable so I didn't have to like sit closer to the thing. But
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So we've made jokes, and it's come up in specifically, I think, feed dumps, which show we don't do anymore, but where a man's romance is your idea of that was a toilet out in the wilderness.
Yes.
And like this beauty and surrounding. If a toilet was in this, would this be the opposite?
Yeah, this would be terrible.
Would this be a man's nightmare?
Yes. Inviting you to, because what it would mean is that you would sleep and shit in the same place. And how would your body unconsciously get used to the idea of like only shit when you are doing this thing? If you are sleeping, don't shit. So yeah, even dogs don't do that. Thank you, Laserbeak's Fury. Animals don't shit and sleep in the same spot. This is kind of astounding. This is conceived in Japan by gaming desk maker Bahute. Anyway, it's like a rad thing. Like when I was a child, it'd be like, man, if I could have a bed that had all the stuff integrated into it. And really, it's not integrated. You end up buying add-ons.
Yeah.
You get the bed that has the desk at the end and the headboard at the top, but then you have to buy like the snack cabinet that's on the left there, like on the person's left.
Because wait, it's just a bed.
The energy drink rack on the right.
Weird pillow, desk section.
Yeah.
Rolly cart for your keyboard.
And your mouse, yeah.
Which honestly, get a wireless. Rolly cart for snacks. Looks like you get little drink holders in here.
Yeah, not bad.
Which is kind of neat. They've put a shoebox there for some reason, and some sort of headboard, also shelfy thing
that has your ramen on it for some reason. I do love the lamp arm that actually just holds your phone that sits over your head.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The shelf, the weird shelf that they couldn't even bother to put the 3 stacks all the way back of their Monster Energy drinks in a non-refrigerated shelf, I have some issues with.
Yeah, warm Monster.
I mean, I've got issues with other stuff in this, but that bothers me from like hey, we need to take a picture and like set our stuff up and make it look fancy.
But I also love the giant bean bag that's in the middle of the bed. That it's not some sort of weird sleep sack that he's kind of curled himself into. It's like, no, you're supposed to like put that behind you, see, because it's not in the actual part of the bed there.
Yeah. But it's
also, God, this guy, it looks terrible because of the mask and the hoodie and all the other shit. I'm like, I don't want to sleep in any of that. It looks incredibly warm.
Sleep in the hoodie,
but like he has a giant beanbag behind him because you would need that to sit up and play stuff. And I'm like, this is great. I, though, also learned when I was young, when I would stay homesick and I'd be like, well, I'm homesick, so what am I going to do? I'm going to stay in bed I'm gonna play video games and watch TV. And after being in bed, and I have a water bed when I was young.
I know.
And it was temperature controlled, which meant that it was always like a nice, comfortable temperature to be in, and it was just like a nice place to be. And I was like, this is good. And after being in bed for 4 hours playing video games, and I get up and I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, what a friggin' relief it is to get out of the bed and like enjoy a bit of temperature differential and go to the washroom. And when I come back, and it's like I kind of don't want to sit in the bed anymore. I want to like put my robe on and go downstairs and like watch TV somewhere else, or like it's just like
even when I was in college and I had a single bed and I tried very hard to keep many things close to it, so I didn't have to leave it unless I really had to go to class.
Yeah.
Because class is a long time, so it's not like I had much time to spend in the bed anyway.
Yeah.
And I had no chairs, so the bed was where I was gonna pretend that I could sit.
Yeah.
I could replace all of this with a Switch and a mini fridge.
Sure. But my one problem
Probably
with this,
cheaper too.
my one real problem with this too, though, is
and what they call those, was it husband armchair thingies?
yeah, the prop up the husband Brock, the weird pillow that has the two arms on the side of it too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just get one of those.
Yeah. I didn't know that's what those were called until I watched the Venture Brothers, and then Rusty referred to it as the husband, and I was like,
I'm sure
okay.
there's probably other names for them that
Sure.
are better.
I feel the problem with this bed is it doesn't go far enough, because all it is a bunch of little. They built a bed because they make desks and stuff. So they built a bed to go with a desk they probably already make, or something close to something they already make anyway. And then they built a bunch of extra components to fit around. And I'm like, no. If you're gonna build a gaming bed, you have to integrate all this in some way. Like the fact that the thing sits at the foot of the bed like that, I'm like, no good. If you're gonna make a bed I can game in, that has to be above my head. And there's a lot of chairs. I think the Acer Thronos they actually linked to in here does that, where you can you sit in the 0G space, and the things like hover above your head, and as you move around, they follow you where you move to whatever your most comfortable position is.
All right, we can make this better. Okay, so first of all, that bed, not the best bed.
No.
Clearly, they just put out a mattress and a beanbag.
Yes.
And we know that those beds with the movable whatevers exist. So clearly, we can have some sort of incline thing done on the bed so it can transform like a real transformer. And you're a gamer, so you want transformers. Secondly, this is clearly set up for a PC setup. And I'm not a PC gamer, so we don't need that.
No.
Get rid of that whole front desk. Get one of those slidey out TVs that come up really high in front of the bed and then can also go away. Again, transforming. Fun. It'll also hide, and you can hide all your things, and then people won't know you're a gamer. I don't know why they're coming to your house if you're busy gaming, because they should be on a different place gaming with you. That's how online gaming works.
I mean, if you want to have a single unit integrated together, then yes, you need a TV that kind of goes at the foot of your bed, but that can also hide itself, so you don't have to look at it all night.
Yeah. Okay. And then the back one, not so bad. Not sure why you have a shelf on the back part at all, because if you're up against the wall, this isn't gonna work for you anyway to get behind there. So lift it up a little. Do an actual over the bed headboard
So you want a
kind of
headboard
thing.
that has integrated bookshelves.
Yes, essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's where you're gonna also keep your lampy holdy out phone thing.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have one that modifies so you put your Switch on it or your PS Vita. And then on the other side, we're getting rid of the shelf. We're putting in a mini fridge. Come on, you're not gonna have, even if you're gonna have that many Monster Energy drinks, you're not gonna put them on an unrefrigerated thing. That's silly.
I would say you have a nightstand that sits next to you, that is the mini fridge, as opposed to something that is obviously because it can't face forward, you have to be able to open the door to get it out. Or go with me on this journey. One of those fancy sci-fi fridges that you see them build that clearly would never work properly, where it rises out of the pedestal. So you have a fridge with stuff that's on top, it's a bar fridge essentially, right? But instead of you having to open a door to do whatever, you press a button on the side of it, and the top lifts out of it, exposing everything that's inside. You grab what you need, and then it just goes back inside.
Science bar fridge.
Yeah.
And then We can still keep those shelves on the side where the Monster Energy drinks are.
Yeah.
We're not going to put Monster Energy drinks are. That's where you're going to put your systems in the first place.
People are saying
need to be somewhere.
People are saying that the fridge could be a kegerator. I'm like, no. With a kegerator, that means you have to change kegs out and stuff like that. That's work. Yeah, and also I can't get a kegerator to dispense me a sandwich.
Yeah. If we're gonna go whole hog, if we can't do science fridge, what we can do is we can get a vending machine where we don't have to put in coins, and we'll get the Pepsi guy to come in and refill it for us.
Nice.
And
thanks, Pepsi guy.
The only thing out of this configuration I really want to keep
Pepsi man
is the little rolly cart with the drink thing, which I don't know why it's
on the far right hand side, where the drinks are actually farther
right
away from you because they're hard, so it's harder to get.
Yeah, I don't know why this isn't turned around so that that's actually accessible.
I feel like those are like slidey baskets too.
Yeah. But I think this cart is not bad. I think that can stay there and be a place for the chips and things.
Yeah.
I don't know why we've got a shoebox or...
I mean, I do. That's where all his materials are kept.
Look, you don't have time for that kind of thing. If you have time for that kind of thing, you're going to play Dead or Alive.
If you have a phone over your head anyway, that's where all your materials really need to be.
Yes,
so,
you don't need
no
magazines. Oh, come on.
Get me an iPad.
This is year 2020, Beach.
Yeah.
Nobody does that
the
anymore.
year of our Lord 2020.
Yeah. I kind of do think this is funny. The cup holders for the ramen or cereal or whatever that's supposed to be.
The idea too that that there's the two ramen cups right there, and I'm like, I guess you could have two going at any one time.
Okay, now this is how you do two ramen cups.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you put in hot boiling water and then it's too hot for a long time.
Right, so you let it sit there, okay.
You have one that you're eating and the second one in reserve for when you're done the first one.
Right.
So of course you have two ramen cups.
Makes perfect sense. The weird, like, I do, like, we have, you can't see them, but on either side of the desk we have clamp-on headphone holders.
Yeah, we've got a thing similar to what's going on down here.
Yeah, and they rotate. You can hear that. That's them rotating.
They're pretty handy, actually.
They're the best goddamn thing, and I'm gonna probably maybe get one for home at some point.
That would be nice.
It's really, they're like $10 or $15 on Amazon. And like, if you want to improve your life, get one of these things.
The banana stand we're using is okay.
Yeah.
But it would be nice for it to not be on top of the desk.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called is the problem. James is the one who ordered them.
Well, just ask James.
James, what were they called?
I don't know if he was reacting to you.
Oh. Hey, James.
I don't know if
he has his headphones on. He can't hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll ask him later.
You can find them on Amazon, so, you know.
Sure, of course you can. Wait, that's the wrong mouse.
And I don't know what they're called. Adjustable desk clamp headphone holder. Just look for anything that's like $10 or $15. You'll find them quite easily.
Google enough keywords, you'll bring up anything.
Yep. I wish I had a... Yeah.
All right, so we solved the bed problem, and we made it better. Probably more expensive.
We made, but I mean that's the point, right? Though if you're gonna make the perfect gaming bed, it better cost a lot of money. You heard me.
No, I'm
is that
laughing.
ChillPoint?
I'm laughing at the idea that we solved this problem as if it was a problem.
I do like that the company has also made a gaming cycle, like the same company that makes a bed that you don't have to get up from. They're also like, we've made you a gaming cycle, which is just it's a place to sit with
a desk with your laptop.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not a
also
gaming...
come on, if you're gonna cycle, I don't wow why he's got plugged in headphones, wireless headphones.
Oh yeah, look at that, look at it, it's touching his knee.
Yeah,
it looks
that
like
cable
I know he wants to do
is
that.
down here, and that's going to constantly be knocking into him.
It's gonna be irritating.
It's gonna be irritating. Like, if you're gonna do this,
do you know how erosion works, right?
Yeah, your legs will get eroded.
It's gonna constantly be rubbing against your leg.
There'll be a whole river in your leg.
Exactly.
Well, this has been weird.
Yeah. I don't know whether I would rather have a gaming cycle in Studio A for the people playing games in Studio A, or if I would rather have gaming beds in Studio A. We had talked about getting a gaming couch for Studio A so that we could like we could have just a couch sitting here instead of like rolly chairs, and whenever we're doing like CTS, we just push the couch back even more, and then 4 people can sit on it.
Okay, first of all,
yeah,
I do not want a gaming bed in Studio A.
Just a
That's the studio we are currently in.
an Alaska King.
And
Just
no, that's weird.
yep. Changing the
I do
sheets
not
all the
want,
time.
I also don't really want a gaming cycle desk for Studio A.
Yeah.
There's already so much going on with reading chat and the subs and the other stuff we have to do.
Sitting here peddling the entire time.
I don't want to also be like, I guess, gee, why am I out of breath all of a sudden? No,
You can stop, like you can be doing stuff. Well, and then, but
then
then
it's
like
weird.
Rhythm Cafe, you could be pedaling to the beat and be like, dun, dun,
Oh
dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no,
dun,
no!
dun,
I already have a hard enough time playing rhythm games with Ian in the room.
dun, dun,
Doing that
dun,
kind of
dun,
shit.
dun,
That's.
dun, dun, dun,
Nah, I think you'd find that way harder than you think.
Yeah, I already find that game hard to play. Cadence of Hyrule is rough. I'm not because I just want it to be Zelda.
Necrodancer. Yeah, it's because you're trying to play it like a Zelda
I'm
game.
trying to
It's
play it like
not.
Zelda. It's not a Zelda game. So anyway, all right.
No, if we're gonna get anything, it'd be a couch, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's.
Except that couches, like streaming people on a couch, always kind of looks awkward.
Well, yes, because if you get a comfy couch, it sinks.
Yeah, and
And
then
it's
everyone's
nice.
all
And
like,
then you
"Oh,
look-
this is so comfortable. I'm very happy playing
Please
a
stop.
video game."
Please stop. Please stop. Wow. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to watch that again in the highlights, aren't I?
Nobody's clipped it yet. Anyway.
You say that.
Oh yeah, make a couch that's just green screen. Just
Hey, we're floating in space.
Yeah, no, that might be.
Let's play Cook Serve Delicious 3.
Do you want to talk about anything else? Do you have
no, Christ no.
Do you have anything that you care about coming out?
I have
that
this
you're excited
shirt.
about?
I'm excited about this shirt. It's missing an entire row on it.
Yeah, the green screening is taking out the green.
If you like this shirt, it actually has green where the mostly invisible line is. But if you are a fan of if you're a fan of our t-shirts, you can go to lrr.cc/pride and get yourself a Pride shirt. And then here's what's funny about it: you can't get yourself a Pride shirt because you have helped us sell out of the Pride shirts, and we're so pleased that you like them. Thank you very much.
There will be a reorder of shirts coming, please.
Yeah, I've already made the reorder of the shirts, and I've ordered over how many you guys have asked for. So.
if you send in submit your email to the page that says
when you're on the
give us
page,
your email
select what you want. If it's like unisex large or fitted extra small or whatever it is, it'll give you a blank for your email address. It will let you know when.
Then you'll get an email that's like, hey, guess what? That thing is in stock now. You can order it if you like. And we have deleted your email from our memories.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think that's true.
It's only supposed to send it to you the one time. So
it only sends you an email for that for when you've signed up for it. But I think it logs. I think there is a log in the back end. We don't use the emails for anything else other than that because it's an automated service and only we have access to it. Is how I understand how this whole method works. Is that there isn't a third party getting your email address. Nobody else is mining it for anything else. So.
Yeah.
GCU, you kind of have it. It's weird to say it this way, but part of the shirt sales goes in advance to PFLAG Canada. It's more accurate to say that we have made a donation to PFLAG Canada because we wanted to do something nice in relation to the Pride shirt.
Yeah, we
have already made that donation. It was just based on we know how many shirts we're making. We're just going to make that donation. So, and now we have done that. The restock, I believe we're going to see it in the next 5 to 10 business days. We should have. I think we'll have it come in. I haven't received an invoice yet, so I don't know how long it takes. But the people who make the shirts are pretty fast. So
I think within a month, though, is a safe estimate.
It's an overly long estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen it take longer
that,
than 2 weeks. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you should see it maybe even before then is what I'm hoping. So we'll see.
I mean, if you hurry, you'll get everyone before Animal Crossing comes out, and then because no one's gonna do anything after that.
No.
Ever again. Everything just stops.
Enigma DK saying, can I expect the size to be like the European sizes? Enigma, my recommendation to you is if you go to the page, you can look at the sizing. It's unfortunately all in imperial because these are all being made in the U.S. But do a conversion to metric, and it will tell you how big certain dimensions of each shirt is, depending on what size it is that you want to order. We are trying to. I'm trying to get more of that on the website so people can see, okay, this is what we print on. We almost always print on district DT5000s and DT5001s for the fitted sizes, unless we specify otherwise. In this case, we're printing these on Bella and Canvas. These are the 3001 CVCs, and the ladies, I believe, have the 6001s. So yeah. Just go look up on the page. I'm trying to give more information. If we don't have the information you need on the site, feel free to email me, info@loadingreadyrun.com, and ask me about it, and I will put the information on the site where we might be missing it.
Knows way more about shirts than I do in terms of what blanks exist and things. I could tell you how they're woven, but I don't want to.
Where'd you get your Persona shirt, by the way?
Fangamer.
Fangamer makes these.
I get a lot of my stuff from Fangamer.
There's been a lot of people had mentioned at the top of the show where your shirt came from.
This is the Persona 5 one.
Yeah.
They brought this out, I think, within the last year.
This is their Persona 5 raglan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raglan means this cut.
Yeah.
That's all it means. Mm-hmm. It means that this one panel is an entire panel. There's no seam up here. The seams are here.
I am so... They've brought out more Hollow Knight merch, and I'm just like, I can't... So many new t-shirts I have to get eventually from them. Also, I might have to replace one of my Stardew Valley shirts from them, because it's got a hole in it.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Oh, there's Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley's getting an update.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
1.5, yeah.
Yeah, they're still working on it, but it ran a huge update recently, I think.
Yeah. Season 11 Blu-rays are still being worked on. The holdup from production issues, we think we've caught it. In fact, I reviewed our masters the other day, and we noticed another error. So
yeah, they gotta go through a second review process, but they're
we think that we've caught that one, and therefore we're going to.
No.
I'm going to review it one more time, and then we'll know once I get a new master cut, I'll review it again, and then once we're sure that's good, then we're going to go ahead and get them printed. But yeah, they are like, I am looking at I have copies of the masters, right? Like
the thing is, they're being worked on.
Yeah,
we're getting there. Hopefully soon.
Yes.
That is all that can really be said.
Exactly.
Because for all you know, something else could go wrong.
Oh, that's true.
So please don't make promises like that.
I'm not going to make a promise. I just said this is what's happening. This is where I'm at.
People extract that into promises.
Yes.
I've seen them do it.
I've made 0 promises here today.
So I'm pointing this out more for them. We're working very hard on it. We don't want them to be where they are any more than you do. Can we do subs? Can we start logging? Like, if there's no actual other things for us to talk about, are we done? Are we complete?
Yes, I think we're done.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if
the button is set up.
it's not on here. Ha!
Nice.
So, coming up next, we're going to have Lure MTG. That's going to be James and Adam, probably.
Yeah, in about 40 minutes.
They're going to play Magic, and then James will remember to tell me what they did so that I have accurate information for the VOD later. I don't know why this is always so
Let me
far
just move that.
away. And they locked it down. All right, and then tonight we have a bonus stream. We were gonna do the long game, but Cameron is
As we
got
said,
a cold, and
he's hurt.
so
Yep.
then it's gonna be you, me, and Corey playing Cook Serve Delicious 3. I think we've only played the first one or the second one. I can't remember which
you
one.
guys,
we
I think, played the first one together, but I remember playing the second one with you.
Was it the second one?
Yeah.
We played it a special 3-person method that we constructed, and we'll see if we can still do that or not.
Yeah. I think we're gonna. It's been so long. It's been like over a year or two.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
might
like
take a
we're gonna have
while
to feel
for
our way
us to get
into
back
it.
into that flow.
I do
and
remember
start yelling.
Hanatize though.
Hanatize. I remember beer, 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 because that was what we would yell when we were filling the beer up. We got a real rhythm on that one going, so that we knew exactly how many beers before like it filled up properly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that'll be fun. Then tomorrow night they're doing the Friday night paper fight. They're doing Memelander, which I think is Canlander with like meme decks.
Yes. The goofy stuff that you probably wouldn't play if you wanted to actually be competitive.
Oh, I just assumed there were like internet memes in the
No,
decks.
it's like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I made a deck that did this ridiculous thing? And it's like, sure, let's see how that works.
Is that a meme?
It's meant to be like I think Flying Men, as Evil Badman mentions, is like that's a Canlander meme. Is like you fill your deck with Flying Men and you make the Flying Man deck. I think Alex was thinking about making a zombie deck. Muscle Wizards, that was one of the ones, right?
Yeah. Muscle Wizards. Muscle Wizards was a thing that Serge specifically told me didn't exist and that it was an in-joke because people kept asking for a list, and I was like, hey, is there a list? And then he said, no, it doesn't exist, and I guess it does now. I don't know.
These are not decks that are going to win championships, but these are decks that can win games, is my understanding of how this works. You make them for the fun of it. You don't make them because you want to win the Canlander International Championship hosted here at loadingreadyrun.com.
That was Yellow Jacket specific.
Yes.
All right. And then on Sunday, we're doing Rhythm Cafe, and Ian and I have agreed that we're playing a game called Symphonic Rain.
We've come to terms.
Look,
there's been strict negotiations.
No, seriously, I've never had a month where James has constantly been like, what game are you playing next? Because usually we're a little bit more organized. Yeah. And for the last 3 weeks, James has been like, what game are you playing on this date? Because this other game will finish soon. And I'm like, I don't know. Goodbye. And earlier today, we decided we were going to play that one. It's supposed to be a visual novel. So I'm curious to see how that works with rhythm games.
Symphonic Rain.
Yeah.
All right.
Then on Monday, we have a bonus stream where those of us who are on the long game will be painting our Gloomhaven minifigs.
It's funny because when we saw that go by, I was like, Gloomhaven, cast of long game. I'm kind of like, why would we do... Oh, painting. I thought it was playing is what it said. But it says painting.
Playing Gloomhaven with the cast of the long game.
Yeah.
I mean, it still works as a sentence. It's just a little confusing.
Yeah, you're painting Gloomhaven figures.
And then that night, we'll have the return of Alien Heat Death.
God willing, if Cameron is back on both his feet.
I mean, I would hope so by Monday.
Yeah, I think
That's a few days from now. We'll see what happens.
I'm glad you're all enjoying Heat Death, by the way.
It should be Heat Death. It'll be session 3, and then that will continue on. That should continue on as normal. If I push that again, good. It goes away. Neat. I
just like watching him smash his hands together. Tom Nook applauding.
I'm very excited for Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah.
I've been trying to play New Leaf, which I've been enjoying a lot, but it's not the new one.
Okay, so I don't know all of the stuff they were selling at PAX East. Like Nintendo, at the Nintendo booth there's like a hoodie and stuff.
There's a hoodie. I think there was a water bottle, which I was not that interested in.
Yeah.
I saw a couple other things, but I can't remember what they were.
Was there Tom Nook's shirt?
No.
Right. That I think I'm like, that is a major misstep.
I think some of the staff were dressed in those shirts.
Sure.
But I don't think those were selling.
Yeah.
But I bet if you go on the internet, you will find some.
All right, I'll go do that.
I'm just saying, at this point in time, I'm sure someone has made it. So.
I mean, they're probably made of 100% polyester and they feel like ass, which is not what I want. I want like a lovely...
Well, you know how to make shirts.
Yeah. Just put your lips together and blow. Should welcome the subs.
That's how you blow out a candle, but okay.
Happy birthday, Mr. Tom Nook.
Is it Tom Nook Nick's birthday?
I don't know when his birthday is.
Well,
I love that we have so much time in this show that we can just do this now, because it's like they're not
See?
going to start till 2.
I was right. Tom Nick birthday. May 30th. It's not his birthday today.
Okay. Does whose birthday? So the Animal Crossing wiki? Can you look up whose birthday is on March 20th? I think you might have to actually go to the. You might actually have to go to the yeah.
March 20th. His name is Hornsby. He is a cute rhino.
Yeah.
He's a lazy rhino villager.
His name is a play on the horn on his head.
Well, yes.
He's a blue rhino. Yeah.
It's gonna be so sad if he doesn't come into the game on
Right?
on New Leaf if he's not in it, because it's just like, well, even on your birthday, you're not invited to the cool island.
Yeah.
I've never seen this one. He's very cute.
Is he a New
there's
Leaf?
like 400 characters.
Yeah.
So.
But he is a new leaf, right?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. All
He's
right.
a new leaf. The original one, I think, and yeah.
Yeah, Dobutsu Nomori, and yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. He is a lazy villager. Friendly and easy to get along with due to his laid-back lifestyle.
What day is it today? It's the 5th? Today's birthday is Gala, a little pig, a normal pig villager.
A light pink pig with big bright blue eyes with large black pupils.
It's very cute. I mean, I don't know if there's any particularly Animal Crossing characters that I don't like. I'm sure I've seen a couple.
I do think it's interesting that every oh,
That's yours.
cute.
You share a birthday with Olive.
That's awesome.
Olive the little bear. Who
Piccolo.
says sticky fingers attract bees. So that seems.
It's just very weird that every day of the year has a they didn't hold a day back where somebody, because it seems like every single day has somebody.
I mean, you get over 400 characters. It seems like a thing that just happens.
Right, you can widely distribute them, but I think if you grabbed 400 people, a random 400 people, you're gonna find people who have duplicate birthdays, and you're gonna find a couple days that they did not, that somebody's birthday is not on.
Well, I don't like the one I share my birthday with, so there, I found an Animal Crossing character I don't care for.
All right.
All right. We should do subs.
Yeah, a great idea. All right. There is a sublisting thing, isn't there? There is.
I guess. I don't think we've ever used it on the studio.
Yeah, so there's sublisting here, which means that there must be...
Would you rather I set it up over there?
We can just read it off over here, I guess,
Okay.
yeah, rather than putting them on the screen.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Because we'd have to open another controller overlay. I think Nifty Overlay actually does the work, the hard work, but I don't know where the controller for that is.
Just read the subs.
Sure, Mirnus, subscribe for 75 months. 3 more months, I'll have 6 baker's dozens. Making a joke each month is hard. Yes, it is. You know our pain.
Demented Chiptune has subscribed for 3 months in a row. Welcome back.
The Walking subscribed for 30 months, a little ChillPoint before going to work. A lot of ChillPoint.
Johnny Glitch for 44 months. 9 Coronas?
9 Coronas. Mike Smith, 916 for 69 months. It's chill time.
Decaped for 50 months. Down with Big Flu.
Congrats to the Maricat on their 2,000 gift subs they've given in the channel.
That's not a real number.
It's a number, certainly.
I like that they. Okay,
I like it's
we'll get to that.
congratulations, but really
We'll
it's
get to
thank you, the
that.
Maricat. Took Nuke, subscribe for 11 months. Welcome back.
Gap Filler for 6 months. Hey, 6 months.
Gooseberry Memories for the 3rd month. Thank you.
Dairynator has been subscribed to our channel thanks to the Maricat.
Oh, thank you, the Maricat. Isaiah Jenner subscribed for 28 months. Welcome back.
Stormshot14 is back for the 34th month.
Muon Decay for the 75th month.
EvoCrons13 has been here for 75 months, 6.25 years.
Napalm Sideburns for 69 months says nice.
The Maricat has subscribed to Dairy Brash. We're going to have a lot of confused people if they even look at our channel, which is funny to me. Thank you.
Kyron the Walker back for 33 months. ChillPoint, neat.
Hail the RNG for 62 months. Welcome back.
Moose-filled Cat subscribed for 65 months. The rare ChillPoint sub.
The Maricat has subscribed NVIDIA to our channel.
Thank you, NVIDIA. BioRock Monk subscribed for 20 months. Welcome back.
The Suits here has cheered with 100 bits.
Jadar 5000 for 37 months in a row. So where's the ice cream to chill on? Yeah,
We should have
get
gotten
some
ice cream. Maybe after. And Maricat has subscribed to Bed Gaming. There's one thing I do enjoy is the gift subs that the Maricat does probably the ones I notice the most, but just the sheer I found this account and now they are a sub tier.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Gaming on Bike just subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
And also thanks to the Maricat, we have Couch Gaming.
Evil Spoon 983 subscribed for 21 months. Want merch?
We are done here. Has been subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
Oh, thank you, Maricat. GCU, of course, I still love you. Subscribed for 62 months. On the topic of meme decks, I built a standard deck called Train Tribal. It was strictly worst Mardu vehicles, but by God, they were all trains.
See, I can get behind a train deck.
Yeah.
It's probably not what I'm thinking, but if there are legitimate trains in Magic, that I can kind of get behind it. Animal Crossing Power has been subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
Someone who shares my name just subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
Somebody who shares my name has been subscribed thanks to the Maricat.
And Christ 2000 XXX just subscribed thanks to the Maricat. And thanks, Maricat. You've hit 2,000 gift subs in the stream. I don't know if that's a record, but it sure is a hell of a lot, and we do appreciate it. And thank you to all of you who subscribe. And does this become a thing on Loading Ready Live or on Loading Ready Run? The ChillPoint we just did. Does it go up anywhere?
This goes up on youtube.com/loadingreadylive, which is the VOD channel. The Loading Ready Run channel would have gotten the actual CheckPoint episode.
Were there an actual CheckPoint
if there were
episode?
one. But there wasn't. This was the ChillPoint takeover, so...
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who might be watching this on Loading Ready Live, and to the commenters and the lurkers. And we see you. I mean, I don't have a complete list, but we see you.
So, speaking of YouTube, we have 3 YouTube channels. I've already mentioned 2. The Loading Ready Run, Loading Ready Live, and LRR MTG, which is where all the Magic content goes.
Including LRR MTG, that is a Twitch show that we're doing that'll be on the next...
Friday Night Paper Fight. All of the Magic-related content gets shoved over there. And... Also, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. That is another way to support us.
We have YouTube subscriptions now also on the main channel on the
Loading Ready Run
channel.
We can't just call it the main channel if we're doing that. We have to actually specify
the name that is the name of our who we are.
Internally, we refer to it as the main channel.
Yes.
But really, it's just here's stuff that's not streamed.
Yeah.
Mostly, except for some of the stuff
for things that are
is complicated.
Yeah. But thank you to everybody supporting us here on Twitch and then also on Patreon as well. And that does make a big difference. When you support us, even through like buying merch and other things like that, makes a big difference. We can afford to pay people.
Yeah,
we can afford to keep the lights on.
As we mentioned store.com. Store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Yes.
Is that how it goes for merch? If you want to see me stream at home, I'm over at Lunar Jade on Twitch and on Twitter. We also have there's a Twitch team page that you can check out where everybody home streams, because not everybody does, but a lot of people who work here do. So you can find them in various places on Twitch as well.
If you want to watch me stream at home, don't.
Beach likes to stream here. Sometimes he likes to walk in on my stream.
Yeah, you'd have to set up cameras at home to catch me.
I'm not doing that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I can. No. Too much work for me.
Yeah. I drilled holes the other day. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drilled some holes in my
Okay.
walls. We own our place, so I was like, oh damn it, I'm gonna drill some holes in the wall.
That's true. Lure has an official Discord. It's discord.gg/LRR. I believe we actually took it public recently, so that means you should be able to search it as well. If you don't remember the code.
We'll see how that goes. I imagine it'll be a positive experience. I'm looking forward to see what happens.
And I can't think of anything else. I think that's all of our stuff at the moment.
Trying to think if there's anything else we needed to cover. I mean, we got time, right? Obviously, we don't have to be out of here right away, but we don't want to waste anybody else's time.
Look,
I think we've kind of covered all of the bases.
It's been over 6 months since last time Nintendo did a general direct, and it's driving some people a little batty. I mean, honestly, I would really like to see one.
They owe us a direct. It's like,
No, but
no,
I'd
they
like
don't,
to see
Vince.
one. I would like to see one. I don't know. They really brighten my day usually. It's weird. It's a piece of marketing. It's a marketing tool, but it's the thing. It's for a company I like.
Yeah.
So I think they do a really good job usually of like what's in there content wise, but also in how they space out stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Animal Crossing Direct was really well paced. And whenever one happens, my Twitter feed is just full of the most positive things of people being happy about a thing. And I want that. I want to be excited about the same thing as someone else. And I know like Animal Crossing is coming out soon, but that just feels like we're all being anxious at the same time about the thing not being out yet. And
yeah, I mean, like, you've got, it's kind of like in like
it's like 2 weeks.
in 8 days you go purchase your Animal Crossing Switch, God willing.
Yes.
And then in another 7 days
another
after
7
that,
days
you get to play the game.
yeah, they're
and
doing a midnight launch, and I'm kind of
but
probably
it's
just gonna go.
it just feels like this is like it's coming, right? The
I
PAX
know.
East showed the thing, and then you'll
Yeah.
be getting a thing, and then you'll be getting the other thing, and
But-
you'll be playing the game, and
yeah.
it's like everyone's getting so head up, and they don't have to. It's just, you know, the cycle of things is happening, and it's okay.
I just want to get on the island.
I know,
Wanna talk to Tom Nook? I mean, not really.
I do.
Tom Nook's not. He's okay.
It's really good I didn't
I'm
go
not.
to
I
PAX
don't.
East.
I don't hate Tom Nook.
I'd have just given Tom Nook like a big hug.
You
Like,
just
you
camped
are
out
my
at that-
man. You know, like, give me a big hug. I don't know who's in the suit, and I don't care. I'm hugging the character. There are somebody was telling. I was reading an article about working at Disney, and there are people who it doesn't. Whoever gets in a mascot costume, it never is gender matched. So you can have like.
No, it's just whoever can fit in it.
Right, and whoever does like the motions and stuff properly. And so like in some female charactered female Disney costume like mascot outfits, there will be men inside them.
Sure.
And there was a guy one time who came backstage after he'd done some work. He's like, you have no idea how many dads came up and got on their knee and kissed my hand. It's real. It's actually kind of cool. I was like, yeah, I bet. They don't think about that, right?
I mean, Celeste is supposed to be in this new one. I like Celeste.
Nice.
Celeste is great. Celeste is the red owl. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
And
I really...
the Able sisters are back, and I like my little porcupine hedgehog friends. And I mean, everyone loves KK Slider, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
I'm hoping that Nintendo might not put the Space Marine helmet in Animal Crossing as a thing you can get, though I think that'd be really funny if they did. Especially if you had to own both
Great,
games in order for it to unlock or something. But I would love it if...
No!
It would suck, because you'd have to buy the
Yes.
game, obviously, but it would be kind of like a funny thing. It's like, you just get this as a free unlock. But I do think that the Doom Eternal team should give you cosmetics for your guns that make them all different color. Like, you should be able to have, like, an Isabel M16.
That would be funny.
It's all colors, so you your whatever, what do they call it, the Disney bounding thing where you can dress up in the colors of a character but you don't dress up like the character, so you're not causing confusion.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you never heard of Disney bounding?
No, that sounds dirty.
It's like doing closet cosplay. You find things that are just normal outfit things to wear,
okay,
but you match them to the colors of a character.
Really used to the word closet meaning closeted.
Yeah.
So when you say closet cosplay, I'm like, people cosplay and then they don't go anywhere.
Yeah. As Julie Munn puts it, Disney bounding is cosplay for cowards. It's so you can cosplay as like Jasmine or Belle or whomever, but you don't get caught and thrown out.
Cosplay for cowards. That's good. That's hilarious.
They don't like it when you dress up like the actual character because you put them at risk of, if you're like,
it's a confusion thing.
Yeah, if you look like Cinderella, everyone's going to think that you're part of the park, and it's like, no, you could act like an asshole then.
No,
so.
I understand the concept.
Yeah.
I
need to Disney bound myself as like Tom Nook more often. To get myself some shirts like he's got. I need some sweaters.
You're just gonna start looking like Ian.
Yeah. No, because I mean, now that Animal Crossing like New Horizons, he's wearing like all sorts of like.
Oh, you're gonna go for more of the island wear.
Those comfortable Cuban shirts, the ones that have the 4 pockets on them.
All right. Okay.
I kind of wanted to try one of those.
Generally, he wears like a sweater vest with Argyle on it, which is basically just a color swapped version of Ian's clothes.
Yeah, but then I have to have like browns and stuff. I have to Tanuki it up as well. So. Somehow.
Yeah, all right.
This is a great show.
It is. Yeah. We're talking about Animal Crossing.
Want to talk about Mario's last name some more?
No.
No, okay,
That's
great.
a different show.
Let's just knock
this
this
show
off.
is Animal Crossing only.
Okay.
Forever now.
Great.
It's great. It's a good game. Actually, I went and collected a whole bunch of beetles last night. I need to go cash those in. Let's go. Let's go. Where's the off button? I need to cash in beetles right now.
Don't forget to click the right buttons or Accent will get mad at you.
I control Axe Hand. Doesn't matter.